This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sebastian Johnson.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast Live. Are you looking for an attorney? One might be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, James Cushing, with the law office of Fay Reva Cohen. James, how's it going?
Good afternoon. I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm wonderful. We're excited to learn all about you and your business. Please tell us about your company.
Yeah, as you said, my name is James Cushing. My law firm is here in Center City, Philadelphia, and we've been in my Fay Reva Cohen, the founder of the firm, has been in practice for over 50 years, and I joined up the firm not long after I graduated law school, and so I've been here for a long time, and we have a kind of a varied practice. Started out as a solo practice, and it's kind of varied. So Fay Cohen kind of made her name as a civil rights and employment lawyer. I've taken over the family practice of the firm and some other smaller contracts, unemployment, real estate type things, and we've done some estate planning over the years. So we kind of try to serve the average person in the different things that person could have face in his life.
Very cool. How did you know you wanted to get into law?
Well, I always had an interest in civics and government and social studies when I was, that was one of my favorite subjects in school. And so when I went to college, I decided to get a degree in public policy, which is kind of like political science. And it just seemed like a natural thing to do as the way to practically apply that kind of knowledge and background.
What would you say some of like the myths or misconceptions in your industry are?
Well, yeah, I mean, attorneys are a varied bunch, and every career and firm is its own. You see some of them that advertise in kind of, I don't know, I would say unseemly billboards, and you have other people who are sort of highly focused on doing things with the Supreme Court of the United States, or some people who do criminal work, and I mean, it's kind of the practice is kind of getting like medicine, where it's very specialized and individual. And so, each individual attorney has his own practice and focus and approach to cases. I think that some of the challenges, well, first of all, one of the newer challenges in the last couple of years is the advent of ChatGPT and AI and the people who go on the internet and try to secure artificially intelligent computer advice, and they approach me with like, hey, I asked Claude or whatever these questions, and this is the answer he gave me. What do you think? And so that's kind of a newer challenge. I think some of the challenges overall over the years, though, are that, I think an attorney's job, Jerry Seinfeld, I'm sure you've heard of him, he had a joke once. I'm not going to get it right, and I'm not going to do the voice, but he did a bit where the difference between an attorney and a non-attorney is an attorney is the guy who read the inside of the board game box, and we know the rules of the game, and so that's sort of how I think a lot of attorneys, and me included, sort of approach a lot of the practice, where we're trying to navigate someone who has a problem through the rules of the game, and I think one of the issues that I often face is that sometimes those rules feel unjust, and sometimes they feel unfair or misapplied or unevenly applied. And there's not a ton that the person reading the rules can do. These are the rules. And the case that comes to me has the qualities, and which is to say the positives and negatives that it has. And we try to emphasize the positives and navigate around the negatives, but talking about the negatives and addressing them with the client is not always easy, because they sort of instinctually think that I must believe the negative things, or I'm arguing for the other side, or that these things aren't fair. But you can't. You have to face both of those things when you go to court, and because the other side's going to mention them before the other side, that's the first thing on their mind, are all the negative things about you. So you better go in prepared to address those things, and the way to do that is to address them now before you get to court. But people don't always like that. They want to think they think their case is totally righteous or whatever. So that's how I sort of view it, as a problem-solving endeavor.
On the topic of clients, who is your target audience, and how do you attract them?
Yeah, well, as we're in the city of Philadelphia, and so our typical area of practice is in the city itself, and also the I don't know where you're from, but the city of Philadelphia is the area that includes the surrounding counties that are adjacent to it. It also includes kind of New Jersey, but that's a more field of us, our practice. So there's the counties of Montgomery, Bucks, Chester, Delaware are the ones that are immediately next door to us. So our scope, which is not to say we haven't done cases in other parts of the Commonwealth, but 99% of the cases are Philadelphia area type people. So that's sort of where we're focused on the Philadelphia and surrounding counties.
Gotcha. Out of curiosity, have you ever thought about starting your own podcast?
You know what? Everyone's doing it, so yeah, of course I've thought about it. There's, next time, every time you turn around, there's another celebrity or a sports figure or whoever has a podcast. So yeah, the thought's always there, but then I wonder, I have a hard enough time getting people to listen to me in casual conversation. I couldn't imagine sitting here for however many minutes and people tuning in on purpose to listen to me say whatever whatever I'm going to talk about. So yeah, but yeah, of course,
I'm enjoying this conversation very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So, well, on regarding just like what you do, like what do you do outside of work when you're not so busy?
Yeah, well, I grew up in the city, and I live in the city, and this is where I like to be. And in fact, one of my sons is like kind of jingoistically proud of being in the city of Philadelphia for some reason. It's and so the things that we do is, well, in terms of adjacent to my practice, is that I've been serving with the Christian Legal Clinics of Philadelphia since 2007, and that's a local Christian charity that does mostly pro bono. I don't know if they coined it, but I'll say they did. The low bono, whatever that means, like low fee type cases, but largely pro bono type cases. And I joined up with the clinic back in 2007, and I've served in various capacities from clinic volunteer doing consults to coordinating. Now I'm vice president.
Wow.
And so that over the years, we've built a clinic that was started with a couple of guys at a church, serving some people that the local pastor recommended, to having now a multi-site clinic with a fairly, modest budget and a few attorneys that serve on it. So we're trying to serve as many people as we can. We're right now we're serving about 800 people a year, but we have goals in the future of opening like a storefront law firm type offices where people can walk in and we don't have to rely on the goodness of local churches to let us use their space and so on. So in terms of, and the other thing I do that's sort of adjacent to my practice is I serve as the chancellor, which is, I'm an Anglican, right? Anglican Christian. So our one of our favorite things to do is have fancy words that date from the medieval times. So like my title is chancellor, but in reality, that just means I'm the local in-house attorney for the bishop and canon lawyer. So I help write the canons for the church. I help navigate unfortunate situations where clergy may do things they're not supposed to do, or I try to assist with other more practical things that are not quite as sad. So like, if a youth group wants to go to Haiti for a mission trip, I help write the releases. If a church needs to rent a space for some reason, I try to help write the leases or negotiate the leases and that kind of thing. And I work through the canon process for different clergy and what is expected of them. And I've been doing that for a few years now. And like I said, it comes with a fancy title, not necessarily a fancy paycheck, but a fancy title nonetheless. And I guess in terms of my practice, the only other thing I do besides those things is I'm a regular columnist in a local legal newspaper. They're called the Legal Intelligencer. So I have a column there where I write vaguely interesting articles about local cases in family law. Because in the Philadelphia Family Bar, I chair up the committee on case law. So I kind of parlay that into articles to write for the newspaper as to what's going on with the Supreme Court or the Superior Court in terms of family decisions. When I'm not law related, I have a wife, I got 2 kids. One's in 11th grade, one's in 7th grade. They have, being a parent of kids or of teenagers, that they keep you busy in themselves with sports and school and other things. I play the bass guitar. I maintain a YouTube channel dedicated to the prog rock band Yes. It's the largest one on YouTube. I try to do different things and keep busy and have fun.
That's excellent, James. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, anyway,
if you're a Yes fan, I got 8,000 videos on YouTube for you to listen to.
You're gonna have to check that out.
Yeah. I've gotten their attention, but I don't know how much they like the people who are pushing out like bootlegs and stuff. But the culture is a lot different than when I was purchasing bootlegs in the 90s. It's everything's on YouTube now, and I think a lot of old bands just sort of accept the fact that people have recordings.
Yeah, it's so accessible nowadays. James, please tell our listeners one thing they should remember about your practice.
Yeah, so my practice is, we're small. We have at most usually around 4 attorneys, sometimes 3, sometimes 5, but usually around 4. The access to those attorneys is really easy. We don't have a lot of staff, and I would say that our practice is homespun, but it's dedicated, right? So we're small, we're easily accessible. We talk to all the clients on the regular basis. We have a really hands-on approach from attorney to client. And I think that sort of separates us out from a lot of firms, which, are very large and are kind of disconnected, perhaps impersonal. And I think that our advantage in the marketplace is that, we're small and dedicated. We have enough people here to help with the cases, but not so many that it becomes a maze of people and voicemails and push 1 for this, push 2 for that when you call. A live person actually answers the phone when you call my firm, and we talk to people. So, I think that having a personal touch that's caring and that is interested in justice, it goes a long way, and sometimes goes a little further than the more industrial and large firm. I mean, large firms do good work. I'm not trying to insult anybody, but I think sometimes having a personal touch really helps. Sure.
I get what you mean. How can our listeners learn more about the law office of Fay, Riva, Cohen?
My law firm website is fayrivacohen.com, which is FAYERI. F as in Frank, AYERI, V as in Victor A, Cohen, COHEN.com. We also have a business called Legal Research Incorporated that does research for pro se litigants, which is to say unrepresented people or other attorneys who don't have enough time to finish a brief, but they don't want to hire a whole new attorney just to do that. So that would be legalresearchinc.org. And our telephone number is 215-563-7776 at 2047 Locust Street in downtown Philadelphia. The clinic I referenced is CLCPhila, PHILA.org. And if you have a spare $1 or $2, we'd appreciate a donation because we are totally donor funded and none of our clients pay any fees.
Wow. Well, James, I really appreciate you being on the show. We wish you, and we really wish you and your company the best moving forward. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpcentercity.com. That's gnpcentercity.com or call 215-305-8543.